What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another game preview. I'm Zack Phillips, and today we're going to be taking a look at game number 4 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they host the Los Angeles Kings tonight in Toronto. We're looking at this game, this Kings team coming in here 1-0-2, no Drew Doughty, a significant blow, and we're going to be getting a David Rittich game out of them. Darcy Kuemper, injured, will not be playing in tonight's game. So as for lineup changes for the Los Angeles Kings, that's the major one. We did see some money come in throughout the market today on some overs, over 6.5 between these two teams for the game tonight, adjusting to the fact that there could be a lot more goals scored for David Rittich. But that's not what we're getting into right now. Just kind of some lineup talk and a little bit of discussion about what will be going on and what people are expecting. As for this Leafs lineup and some interesting stuff that we're seeing there. First of all, John Tavares skating. Looks like he will be back from illness and playing in tonight's game, slotting in at second line center. William Nylander is the one to keep an eye on here. Craig Berube said Nylander is a game time decision for tonight's game. Will all depend on how he feels throughout the game throughout the day today ahead of the game here tonight about whether or not he goes in. Craig Berube has been a little bit more cryptic and quiet about his messaging and telling us whether or not he thinks guys will go in or confirming whether or not guys will go in. If you remember back to game 1 of the regular season, all the way until the day before and even essentially the day of, it felt like it was going to be Joseph Woll getting the start for game 1. Little did we know he was going on the IR for 7 days and Anthony Stolarz would be in. Stolarz, speaking of him, will be getting the start for the Maple Leafs here tonight. But William Nylander, game time decision. John Tavares back in. Those are the two injury, health, concern issues that we see out of this team that'll adjust the lineup. So if we head on over to Daily Faceoff here, taking a quick look at what we've got for lineups tonight, starting with the first line, no changes. Matthew Knies, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner. That will be set in stone, and I think it should. Austin Matthews will get going here. I'm not concerned at all about how this will be going for Matthews and the goal scoring and the lack thereof. It will pick up. It will get going. At one point here, we're going to look and say, wow, remember those 3 games where Austin Matthews didn't score yet? That's going to look like a long time ago when we look back in the rear view. It's not going to matter, I don't think, as the season gets going. It's just a little blip on the radar. As for the second line, this is where we're seeing some significant change for things. Max Domi finished last game as the second line center. With the return of John Tavares, bumped down third line center here tonight. So on line 2, we get Pontus Holmberg, John Tavares, and Nick Robertson. Then to line 3, Bobby McMahon. Makes sense there for me. Max Domi, that was the swap. Max Pacioretty, third line right wing. Fine with either of the wingers. Those make sense. Max Domi, I feel like there's a little bit of lack of trust from Craig Berube on Pontus Holmberg playing center, hence why he wanted Max Domi up as the second line center in the last game, and why he's going to want him centering the third line instead of a guy like Pontus Holmberg. Give him a little bit of veteran help with a guy like John Tavares beside him. Then you go to your fourth line here as we see Steven Lorentz, David Kampf, Ryan Reeves. You know what? End of the day, those guys earned it. Those guys have deserved every single minute of ice time that they've been given, whether you want to take Ryan Reeves out and swap him in for someone else. I don't know, Connor Dewar when that guy comes back, whatever. Maybe that's going to be the case. But as for Steven Lorentz and David Kampf, they've been very good. That line as a whole has been very good. Drastically different feeling, if you remember, from the beginning of last year when we came into this one going, oh my God, Ryan Reeves can't even go on the ice. Gets the knee injury. All of a sudden he comes back a different player. He has been much, much better to start the season here. As we bump down to the defense and take a look at what we've got going on there, courtesy of Daily Faceoff. The D pairings, let's start with this. No change top unit, as there should be. Morgan Riley, Chris Tanev stayed together. Then you go to the second line. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Jake McCabe stay together. That top 4 has been pretty good so far. Ekman-Larsson, incredibly impressive. Ekman-Larsson has been amazing for me, in my opinion, to start this season. I feel like he's a guy who's come in here and really kind of taken things over. He's been calm and comfortable in his role. Like, he has just looked very, very good here early on. He's been a calming factor, a calming presence for this Leafs group, the Leafs roster. He's been a calming presence on Jake McCabe over there, who probably feels a little bit better not having to worry about Simone Benoit, what he's going to do. Does he have to recover for him? Does he have to cover things up for him in certain instances? He can just play his game. That pairing has been pretty good here. And as we'll touch in a little bit, Ekman-Larsson has gotten a little bit of promotion himself. As for the third D pair, Simone Benoit, not with Connor Timmins here tonight. Timothy Liljegren makes his regular season debut. I don't know what to expect out of this. Timothy Liljegren was a guy for me under Keefe's tenure who would come in and he would look good, and then he would go out for a while and he would come back and he would look like crap, and then he would just be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I never really knew what to make of his game because Keefe wouldn't want to keep him in for a while, then he'd go sit out in the stands, and then for a while, and then he'd come back in, and he just wouldn't look good. He looked confidence shattered, wasn't capable of making a first pass, couldn't go back in below the goal line and turn the puck around and get things up ice quickly. Like, he struggled with those elements. I think a lot of it was confidence, and a lot of it was because he was sitting in the press box. Now, this is not a Berube issue here because Timothy Liljegren didn't look good in camp. He didn't look good in the skates. He didn't look good in scrimmages. He didn't look good in the preseason games, so he doesn't earn his ice time through the first 3 games. Craig Berube is giving him an opportunity here to get in the lineup tonight. I don't know. I'm worried about the confidence of Timothy Liljegren and whether or not he's going to be able to kind of fix what has gone on for himself in the preseason and adjust for the issues that have held him out of the lineup. That's a concern that I have. As we go to the special teams, which I think are important to take note of here tonight. First unit, Max Pacioretty, John Tavares, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, Ekman-Larsson. Feels like a big overhaul here. Ekman-Larsson takes Morgan Rielly's spot on PP1. Matthews, Marner, Tavares, shocker, those guys are back like you're going to expect that. Max Pacioretty gets another look. If you remember towards the end of last game, Matthew Knies was getting more opportunities than Pacioretty. Pacioretty barely played towards the end of the last game here, but Berube obviously giving Pacioretty a little bit of runway here, give him another opportunity with that top group and see if he can get something going. Down to the second unit, Matthew Knies, Max Domi, Bobby McMahon, Nick Robertson, Morgan Rielly. Second unit still feels like an interesting one to me because I feel like they just go out there and they play. They don't overthink it. They're not trying to do too much, and then they just make things happen, and it's a little bit more exciting to see. This first power play needs to get themselves figured out. They need to turn this around now rather than later because you cannot have this drag on for an extended period of time. It costs you goals. It will cost you points throughout the course of this regular season. If you score 1 power play goal against Montreal, you at least get a point out of it. You probably go to overtime. Maybe you even win that game in reg, or you win it in overtime. Like, the power play stunk. It has stunk for 3 games now. You are paid a lot of money to score goals and make things happen. How about you do it when you've got an extra man on the ice? This is the time to turn things around for that group. So those are your lines. Those are your special teams for tonight's games. Let's get to our best bet segment presented by Bet365. This segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account with Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Remember to use code TLNBONUS. That's TLNBONUS when you sign up today. All right, let's head over to the Bet365 screen and look at our best bet for tonight. If you have been following along with the pregame best bets that we've given out here on the show over the last little while, you would know that we are now 2-1. We cashed on the William Nylander goal last game. We cashed on the Max Domi point in game 2. We lost on Max Domi assist in game 1. We are up units so far on this season. I believe it's just shy of 1 full unit that we are up here now on the year. So as for how things have gone for us, we are up. You better be, if you're following along with the unit sizing, the staking, we will be up so far on this year. We're basically taking plus money. We've done half unit on each of the bets that we've given out so far. Tonight, we're heading over to our LA Kings Toronto Maple Leafs game. As always, as I do, I go over to the player tab, scrolling down tonight, and I'm going to go to player points. I'm going to put a full unit on this one tonight. I genuinely feel that this is an absolute banger of a bet in terms of what the price is and the situation that we're seeing. Matthew Nyes to record a point at plus 125. A full unit, $100 pays profits, $125. This is a banger of a bet. Banger of a bet, in my opinion. He's playing on the top line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Matthews has been generating a ton over the last little while. Ton in that last game. Ton in the first game against Montreal. Getting a lot of shots on net. He's getting a ton of opportunities. It's bound for him to go in the net. It's bound for him to go in. On top of that, Matthew Nyes has been playing very, 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 very well. Being rewarded with minutes, being rewarded with being able to play on that first line. Craig Berube is praising him publicly. You know that he's going to want to kind of give it back to the coach and say, hey, thank you for this opportunity. Here's what I can do and what I will continue to do. He has been playing exceptional. Plus 125 to play on the top unit, on the top line to record a point. Plus 125 to record a point here tonight with those guys. Now, on top of that, another reason I think, and one of the reasons I think this is a banger of a bet for tonight's game, and I'm really interested in this one, that first power play unit, I don't think Berube is married to. I don't think he's stuck to the idea that it's Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Ekman-Larsson, and Pacioretty specifically. Last game, he moved away. Gave Matthew Nyes the minutes, gave Matthew Nyes the opportunities, and said, you're going to go out there and you're going to be the guy who's going to get some opportunities with that top group. He gets to the front of the net, he's going to bang home rebounds, he's going to be able to tip pucks, he's going to create distractions, and he wins battles down low. So if the puck goes down below the goal line, he's the guy who's getting it out and being able to shovel it to the front of the net or out to got your guys like Matthews, Marner, Tavares, who can finish on that. Plus 125 for Matthew Nyes tonight. If you look across at any other sports books that are available right now, this is the best number in the market by far. By far, this is the best number in the market. Plus 125, Matthew Nyes to record a point. Banger of a bet. I genuinely believe that. I'm going full unit on this one to profit $125 tonight. So we'll see if this one can cash, but those are kind of my reasonings behind it. I feel like he could get some PP1 runway. I still think even if he's only on PP2, it's a great bet. And that second unit has been looking pretty good. Plus, on top of that, he's on the first line. Like, this guy has been an absolute stud. I think he deserves the time. He deserves the recognition. And plus 125 just feels really, really wrong. I mean, look at right below him. Mitch Marner, minus 230 to record a point. They're playing on the same line. They're playing the same minutes. Matthew Nyes got opportunities on the first unit. He gets opportunities at the end of the game, up a man, down a man. Like, he's out there in important times, important opportunities. Berube likes him a lot. Plus 125, I don't think that this is a number that's going to stick around for a long time. Matthew Nyes to record a point. That is tonight's best bet. If you did enjoy the show here today, the pregame show, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you get notified every time one of these pregame videos drops. Anytime Leafs Morning Take with Nick and Rosie comes on, or Nick and Stewie, or Nick and Hutz, any of those guys, or when Leafs Nation After Dark comes up following every single game of the Maple Leafs regular season right here on this channel. The Leafs Nation 401, Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast if you want to listen to those guys from the morning show. The Leafs Nation After Dark, if you want to listen to me on podcast platforms after the show goes live. Make sure to check those out as well. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. I will be back here tonight following the Leafs Kings game. Just a quick programming note as well. The game is at 7:30. Weird. I don't know why. Game's at 7:30 regardless. That means the show will start later. We're usually like a 9:45, 9:50 go time. It's going to be later, 10:15, 10:20, around there. But once the puck, not the puck drops, that's to start the game. Once the final buzzer goes, about 5 minutes after, we will be live right here to break it all down, take callers, and tonight, be joined by Carter Hutton. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in. Hit that like button. Drop your comments below who you think will score, what your predictions are for the game, what your best bet is. Look forward to reading it all. And as always, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.